Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update.
Good afternoon, I'm Lynn Lee. You're listening to Money FM 89.3. Now, Singapore's manufacturing sector, which contributes more than 20% to its GDP, continues to be a cornerstone of the economy and a key driver of growth. The sector is projected to grow at a compound annual growth rate of 1.48% from 2024 to 2029. Additionally, Singapore's foreign direct investment remains strong, with the US, Netherlands, China, Japan and Hong Kong being key contributors to the country's $151 billion in FDI that was in 2023. And despite its economic strength, Singapore faces challenges that could impact its growth, such as higher costs and potential policy changes. On Industry Insight, I'm pleased to have Lennon Tan, President of the Singapore Manufacturing Federation, join me this afternoon to discuss Singapore's manufacturing sector. Lennon, welcome. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you, Lynn, and good afternoon.
Hey, Singapore has long been recognized as a global leader in advanced manufacturing, and recent official data show that there's a robust demand for semiconductor chips in the computer, smartphone, data center end markets. So we can expect the manufacturing sector to maintain its recovery in 2025, driven by the electronics upcycle. But from where you sit, with the Singapore Manufacturing Federation having served the community since 1932, and if I remember correctly, you represent 5,000 member companies comprising SMEs, MNCs, and affiliate members. So how do you see the current state of the manufacturing industry here?
Thanks, Lynn. That was a very comprehensive and accurate depiction of SMS. Mm-hmm. I would say that I echo your point about our manufacturing sector, especially in the electronics semiconductor region. I think with the demand of AI, as well as, once you start doing AI, you need to upgrade your computers and so on. So there's a strong demand in this sector. So our members tell us that the demand will carry through the first half of this year. However, having said that, you'll find that growth is not all even. So in certain sectors, they are more pessimistic. They may not be meeting the kind of growth that they expect, especially in the light of all the change of global supply chains and tariffs.
Okay, before we get to that, I just wanted to quickly get your thoughts on Budget 2025. Ahead of PM Lawrence Wong's budget speech this week, the Singapore Manufacturing Federation had shared its wish list through identifying several critical priorities built on pillars such as sustainability, human capital, internationalization, and productivity. Do you think the budget has addressed the immediate challenges facing the manufacturing sector?
In terms of feedback, we feel that it is a very balanced budget, and we welcome it. There are schemes whereby companies, manufacturers can look forward to in the short term, for example, the tax rebate. So these are some of the immediate measures that companies can get their hand to buffer some of the rising costs. Mm-hmm. However, we see a lot more in the budget addressing the midterm requirements of the companies or manufacturers, especially the part on transformation. So we see that much of the budget are addressing training, job redesign, as well as helping companies come up with specific programs within the company, like their work committee within the companies, to address some of the specific needs. So all these are catered as well as mentioned during the budget. Also, we noticed that there are also items in the budget that address the long-term development of manufacturers, especially in the area of capital. So we noticed that there is a 1 billion grants for growing companies that they can tap to. The government is helping companies to internationalize. There are also incentives for local fund, as in the equity fund and so on, to support local companies, and in return getting tax rebates and so on. So we see that this is a very balanced budget.
Okay, positive news indeed. But Lennon, are we still on track with the Manufacturing 2030 initiative that was aimed to boost the sector's value by 50% by 2030?
Lynn, the quick answer is yes, I believe so. You can see that I think for the past year or so, there is numerous announcement of the new FDIs that have come in. This will largely impact especially those in the semicon area, those in the biotech area. So I believe very much we are on track to do this.
Okay.
So what we are trying to do while we have all these FDIs coming in, how do we get our local enterprise involved in this growth as well as this momentum? So we are trying to forge right now, forming a platform called the MNC and SME Alliances, where all these companies coming here, our local supply chain can get involved and be an integral part. So this will involve R&D, innovation, so that they can up their value chain and do this. And you've noticed that the budget has many grants on innovation to help them.
Okay, so I assume that this is just one of many initiatives that SMF has come up with to support your members in translating the budget measures into actionable outcomes.
Indeed.
Okay, can you talk more about other initiatives that might be in the pipeline?
I think since about a year ago, we've been focusing on the sustainability part of manufacturing. While we see that the momentum perhaps have slowed down somewhat with the Trump administration pulling out of the Paris Accord, but I believe that this is still an important part of manufacturing, especially when you go into high-tech manufacturing and things like that. Sustainability is one offer that you cannot miss for your consumer. So we are helping our companies to decarbonize and have them be in the know of how they can progressively go into green manufacturing as far as manufacturing is concerned.
Okay, speaking of which, yes, I understand that the PM has announced that there will be a $5 billion top-up to the Future Energy Fund. And as sustainability becomes more and more important for manufacturers and SMEs to stay competitive in this export-driven sector, what are some of the practices and technologies currently by manufacturers that you see on the ground which support the decarbonization of the manufacturing industry?
To begin with, every company needs to know where they are right now in terms of their carbon footprint. You'll be surprised that not many of the companies are aware of how much is their carbon footprint right now. So SMF, through its CSO, Chief Sustainability Officer as a service, offers very low-cost, subsidized services to all these companies to help them know where they are and form a roadmap. It's really up to them, their own pace, whether 2 years, 3 years to eventually decarbonize. Now, as a nation, we have 2040 vision to be carbon neutral, and what it means is that it requires all of us, all the manufacturers, and even all the way down to individual to start somewhere to decarbonize and to contribute towards the greater goal.
Okay. Lennon, across the sector, there had been some prominent layoffs last year. So, we see from the beverage sector to consumer electronics and also e-commerce. So, could you perhaps give us a broad view on retrenchment in this sector?
I think we are seeing a big disruption, transformation in the kind of structure of our economy. So much as our per head GDP is $80,000. So you can imagine that we need to up our game as manufacturers in terms of the value chain. So I'm not saying that the retrenchment is due to exactly to that, but you can imagine with our cost structure here, some of the services or some of the positions may have gone to somewhere offshore, right, for some of those positions. Or sometimes it's just a cyclical kind of event. But I believe that Singapore must up its game by embracing artificial intelligence and automation so that we can up the productivity of individual workers as well as, whether it's blue-collar worker or white-collar worker, to the kind of productivity that represent our costs here.
Okay. Lennon, we've been hearing so much about U.S. President Trump's tariffs. What do you think of them? And will they impact manufacturers in Singapore?
Well, then this is $1 million question. I guess we can take consolation in the part that we buy more than we sell to the U.S. to begin with, right? So I think we may not be the target for the tariff, at least not immediately. But I think having said that, we definitely need our supply chain to be more robust. I think companies need to diversify your customer base to different regions, right? As well as with the tariff aimed at some of the specific countries. And if your supply chain are in those countries mentioned, you should start looking for alternative and how to make sure that there is different alternative ways that you can do your business.
Sound advice. Looking ahead, what do you think will be the most important trends in Singapore's manufacturing industry over the next 5 to 10 years?
Then if I can use the word, maybe just 2 words. One of which is innovation.
Okay.
Second is automation. And of course, that's inclusive of AI. Innovation, because I think this is the cardinal rule of any manufacturers. If you want to up your value chain, you need to have unique proposition, unique features, and that comes about through knowing your market and then putting in efforts to come up with new innovation that will differentiate your products. And second is that, of course, to be able to produce here, to be able to still be competitive, right, in this region, we definitely need to embrace. In SMF, we always coin, now the new term is Industry 5.0, where automation meets AI, meets sustainability. So when you have a full proposition like this, we will always be on top of our game.
All right. Thank you so much, Lennon, for your invaluable insights. Is there anything else you'd like to add about where the industry is heading before I let you go?
Well, I won't say advice, but I guess I'll just maybe share this with the listener that, we can't control what we can't control, but control what we can. It's better to start early.
And he is Lennon Tan, President of the Singapore Manufacturing Federation. Thank you so much, Lennon.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.